order here with the buffoon that we call the BS buffoon. The BS. By the way, in the book we do this funny thing. At least I think it's funny. I'm just a freaking nerd, but I do this thing of putting little scientific names for all the different buffoon classes we found. Sort of like a bird watching book, and you'll have the scientific name of whatever a sparrow is or whatever a blue jay is, and everything like that. This is the BS buffoon is Buffoonicus supercilius. That is the political buffoon who really thinks they got their shit together, right? That they're an expert in their field. They're very smart. They can explain things really, really well, but not really. They are so overconfident that their skills are become that much lacking and that much stark in how they lack to an observer. Just really quickly from the book here again. More often than not, the BS buffoon's inner deficiency is ignorance. The BS buffoon is typically so self-assured in their assumed knowledge or expertise on any given topic, but in reality, the BS buffoon stands at a distinct disadvantage in comparison to a bona fide expert. The best example I can give for this is, do you remember that certain congressman who claimed that Guam would tip over?
Oh my God! What was his name again?
The experts from the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, what was his name again?
Hank Johnson from the.
Yes, Hank. Oh God.
Yeah, there's a great little caricature from Johnny Panisi in the book of him as well, and he's
yeah. For those of you guys listening, by the way, Google after this show, Google Hank Johnson Guam capsizing, and you will fall out of your chair. It's so absurd. Another guy in Congress that has no business being there.
Even better, I'll just add the clip of him doing this right now on replay.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
But we have a plethora of buffoons that can be the BS buffoon.
What is a plethora?
Why, Wapo?
Well, you told me I have a plethora, and I just would like to know if you know what a plethora is. I would not like to think that a person would tell someone he has a plethora and find out that that person has no idea what it means to have a plethora.
One of them we saw already, pal, is Kathy Hochul. This is the Kathy Hochul that said that Kamala Harris at the DNC that you saw is going to be the first president of the United States. I think she meant to say first female.
Are you ready to elect Kamala Harris, the first president of the United States? Yes, you are.
She had a really, really cringe take on access to computers in
the Bronx.
Majority minority school districts in the Bronx, exactly.
Right now we have, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. That's racist!
Pay attention to the sign language interpreter on the side there.
Right now we have, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
This is the worst.
That was one of the worst takes ever. We saw what she did during the migrant crisis, basically absolutely nothing except fight with Eric Adams over who's to blame for what's going on. And now, more recently, congestion pricing coming back in New York and is getting challenged again. What is this woman's expertise, pal?
Nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what can she point to that she's done to make New York better?
For those of you in the 5 boroughs, the congestion pricing, she ran around recently saying she's actually saving you money because the original proposal was $15. Now it's only $9 to get into Manhattan. So she actually did you a favor. And don't forget, Governor Hochul is the same woman who said that God spoke to her and she wants us to be her disciples for the COVID vaccine, right? And she's still running around wearing a Vax necklace, which I noticed she stopped wearing. Okay. Yeah, she's got a good shot here too tonight, Gene.
Oh yeah, sure. I think for the category of BS buffoon, she's probably who is the worst mayor in the United States right now? Is it Kathy Hochul? Is it Gavin Newsom? Is it Gretchen Whitmer? Is it Tim Walz? I mean, who would you pick?
Well, Governor, I mean, we're biased, obviously. I do think it's Kathy Hochul. Like, I just, New York is a train wreck. It's a disaster. It's been going downhill for quite a while. Gavin Newsom, you get what you get, right? At least the guy can look good while he's doing it. Kathy Hochul has no redeeming qualities at all, right? The other ones you mentioned, there are some redeeming qualities. She has none.
I was talking about the grifters on X, like the Harry Sissons of the world, the Brooklyn Dads of the world, the people out there who you know are getting paid by the Democrats to parrot whatever is being said, the Krasensteins of the world that are out there, and all that they do is they just mindlessly say whatever they're being paid to say, and they make themselves look like complete and utter morons. Harry Sisson, that young punk kid, is the one that I think represents them all. He's the poster child to me.
Hey Harry, do you think that Joe Biden is cognitively able to be president? Yes or no?
Yes, I do. You can check out the neurology report he had earlier this year in February, where there said there was no concern, no cognitive disorder. That's coming from an actual doctor, actual neurologist.
We're all making this up. Everything we see every day, the inability to say one complete sentence. We're all making it up.
I don't know. Watch his speeches. You should watch his speech he gave in Philly the other day at the church. It was fabulous. It was incredibly moving.
Well, okay. I tell you what. Okay. Let's watch
slurring off a
teleprompter. Hang on. Let's watch since Harry wants to see. Since Harry wants to see a clip from the church, let's take a look at what happened in the church.
Let us stand together. Oh, at the cross, where I first saw the light.
He has no idea what he's doing there, Harry.
Yeah, he is. You know, he's one of these online, I guess, supposedly influencers. I don't get influenced by him. But here's my concern with when we start throwing guys like Harry Sisson's name out there. Yeah, they have a little bit of sway online, but they don't have like this ultimate authority over people like a Kathy Hochul would, right? Or some other elected official. So, you know, as much as I think Harry Sisson is a BS buffoon, for sure, I don't think he can even hold a candle to someone like a Kathy Hochul.
I see what you're saying, but if we're talking about the buffoon that we want to mock, and essentially the BS buffoon is the one that you point and laugh at the most, and you just mock them to death. I got to put them up for nomination at least because they rightfully deserve all the mockery that we can dish out to them.
Yeah, I mean, Harry definitely deserves it. Harry looks like a kid, though, that like gets his lunch money stolen from him still, even though he's out of school. So, like, I don't know how much more mocking we can do to the kid. The kid's a train wreck. I hope he's getting paid well by whoever's paying him to post, you know, that BS on Twitter or X, because he basically sold his soul at a very young age.
Well, you know what he actually said, and he said this several times, because people would expose, quote unquote, people like Harry Sisson and the other young kid, Chris Mowry, and all of them for being paid. They would say, we're not being paid by any candidate or campaign or anything like that. We're getting paid by the company that employs us, and they're getting the money from the candidate, the campaign, the Democrats. So we're not getting paid by them. We're doing a job.
But recently, many people on the right have been accusing myself and Chris of being paid by the DNC, and we just wanted to come on and say that's an incredibly dumb thing to think.
Yeah, like, congratulations, you discovered we're both signed to Palette Management, which is in our bios, and Palette's a huge company, right? They do marketing work, they do management work, so they receive that money to do marketing and to cover travel expenses separate from what we do, so we haven't seen a dime of that $200,000, like, do you really think I would dress like this if I had $200,000? And again, it's all public information. And you discovered we're Democrats, and we're going to vote for Joe Biden, which I think most people already knew.
And look, if the DNC is handing out checks, we should be first in line to receive them. But that's simply not happening, and we haven't received a dime from the DNC.
That drove me up a wall.
Yeah, he's a piece of crap. What are you going to do?
I want to continue this theme of whether or not an elected official or the sort of gadflies out there, the leeches out there, should be the BS buffoon. And let's take it up a level from the grifters that you see online normally that are out there being paid to the white dudes, gotta say it right, for Kamala Harris.
A woman president, man. How exciting.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Over the last few years, I've been thinking a lot about men.
I'm sure you have.
What a variety of whiteness we have here, with like a rainbow of beige.
God, why are you so awkward?
Kamala Harris smiles. She laughs. She dances.
Like Bozo the Clown?
We hear about white men congregating and we think of tiki torches and AR-15s and the Klan.
Oh, don't give me that liberal bullshit.
One day, we all will be asked what we did to stop this MAGA movement. What will your answer be?
This is why I voted for Trump.
Oh, yeah. That's my answer, motherfuckers. How do you like us now?
Oh, man. This should have been the cringe category. Yeah,
well,
white dudes.
BS Buffoon is the cringe category. That really is the sort of the cringy category. We could have put them in for the culture warrior because there were some celebrities in there, but there were also normal people in there. That's why I want to nominate them for BS Buffoon. But yes, this is the cringe category. Was this the cringiest thing on the campaign this year?
I can't think of anything off the top. I mean, there were some other really cringy moments, but this one, as a white dude, felt real cringy to me. It's just like, can you imagine white dudes for Trump or any dudes for Trump? Like, they're so out of touch that they thought, like, we don't even call each other dude anymore. Like, that was like a 90s thing, right? Like, white dudes? Like, come on, man.
I know I've always called you bro, and we've been...
Yeah, like, if it would have been like white bros for Trump, maybe they would, for Harris. Like, maybe
no,
that
but see, the left wouldn't say white bros for Trump because that would be cultural appropriation of another ethnicity, and you can't do that on the left.
Because, like, remember, like, even their real commercials, their campaign commercials that had, like, these dudes in it lifting weights and sitting out by a pickup truck.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man,
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Meat. Man enough to cook my steak rare. Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears. That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Like, you could tell that those guys were not, like, really in their element. Even Walsh, when he had that gun and he was going hunting, was like a train wreck, right?
Oh, he was Elmer Fudd. He was Elmer Fudd. And you know what? If you want to nominate him for this category as a BS Buffoon, by the way, we can nominate the same buffoon for multiple categories. So if you want to nominate him for this one, I'm all for it.
No, let's stick with what we got for now. But yeah, that was...
Get the fence post out your ass, Galloway. Take a stand, man. The last one that I came up with based upon our review of everything, I couldn't nominate the Harris campaign. That's a lot of people, and a lot of people that nobody's going to know about. But I did find a video that sort of encapsulated the Harris campaign. This is a woman named Kelly Hyman. She was one of the Harris surrogates going on TV, and she had the task of going on to Fox News to discuss the campaign and what she stood for, what Kamala Harris stood for. Let's just say it didn't go so well. This is a perfect example to me of someone who's really confident in what they want to say, but just has no facts and nothing to back it up with.
You've got energy prices up 32%. Yikes. Shelter costs, which includes homes and rents, up 23%.
Damn, my rent is $12,000 per month?
Auto insurance. Every time I say that, I know people at home are going, oh, my bills are crazy.
I can't afford that.
If you're living on a fixed income in this country, it is brutal right now.
I need help. I need help.
What's the plan to tackle these prices?
Plan? What plan?
It's not something that I was saying. My point was the fact that ultimately.
What is Harris's plan? We're waiting.
Let's go while we're young.
Well, there's a limited amount of things that the president of the United States can do.
So there's no plan.
It seems
And that
like you're
potentially
having
is
a hard time articulating her plan. And
I'm not.
that's the
Honestly,
frustration of
that's
voters.
not true.
So what's the plan?
Bro, I almost had a spit take. Thank God there was no camera on.
Yeah, there's no camera for listen, I'm cracking up at all these clips, and I made them.
That was bad. That was real bad. Unfortunately, it's like some of these people are a flash in the pan. Like, we'll never hear of that woman again, I don't think. Never heard of her before that. Yeah, I mean, she's full of BS, obviously. In a way, I kind of feel bad for her, right? Because there was no plan. What would you have said? What could you have said? And Sandra Smith, or whoever that was on Fox,
yeah, you're right.
Set it up kind of perfectly. She wasn't being unfair. She was just spitting facts and then saying, like, well, what's the plan? And then humana, like, response was perfect. So, yeah, obviously any spokesperson for the Harris campaign would fall into this category. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, there was another one that went on to like CNBC talking about I forget what the economic policy was, but I think it was the tax on unrealized capital gain. You remember that?
This is all about pandering to the idea that the wealthy don't pay their fair share. That's how this is cast.
We'll never get enough. The real viral nature of that discussion wasn't so much on the unrealized gains; it was on price controls and just the notion.
Joe, that's my other point. What are price controls? They're the government setting prices. When you're taxing unrealized gain, who decides the price? Right. I mean, we have a market price in the market, but
immediately
the government does.
Because of the backlash from the right and left, they immediately tack to say that it's not about price controls. It's an anti-gouging.
That was nonsense.
Trying to sell to people that you haven't earned money on any, stock or any investment. You haven't realized you haven't taken it out, but just because it's there on paper, we're going to tax you on that amount. Even if you get a loss later on, you're still going to get taxed on that amount.
Yeah, of course, man. None of them could explain that stuff. They have to BS their way through it. There's no way to explain this nonsense.
I mean, and not to mention the BS of stealing different Trump talking points, like the no tax on tips talking point that he had going around when Harris was like, oh yeah, me too. Me too on that.
So to recap in this category for the BS buffoon,
yes,
we got Governor Kathy Hochul of New York, Harry Sisson, white dudes for Harris, and Kelly Hyman, that last woman we just seen, mouthpiece for the Kamala Harris campaign. Good competitors all, and I'm curious to see where this shakes out. This person wasn't relevant this year, but I think he gets an honorable mention because he's been, full of shit for as long as I've ever heard of him. Dr. Fauci, right? I don't do the voice impression too well, but
I can do the voice for you.
But I heard he's fishing.
Just because there was a lab in the city where the origin of the virus was in does not mean necessarily that the virus originated in the lab that I gave money to.
And don't hold me to this, Gene. I think he was from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn.
Don't, no.
I'm almost certain that he was from Brooklyn. He wasn't really relevant this year. The only reason why his name popped back onto the scene recently is because it's being floated in DC circles right now that he might be seeking a blanket pardon from President Biden on his way out the door. Right, so we shall see.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, we have a yak attack.
Oh man,
there you go. F him, he says. So those are the nominees. Yeah, if you have any more, I mean, by the way, with Fauci, let's just say this: there's a story that surfaced today as we're taping this that Biden is contemplating a pardon.
That's what I'm saying. He's fishing around for a blanket pardon as well.
Why does he need
any
one?
crimes that he may have committed over the last few years?
What did he do that he needs a pardon?
Yeah, I'm dying to find out. And whether he gets a pardon or not, who cares? At the end of the day, I mean, I want to see that guy get locked up, but I want the truth more than anything else. So all these guys that get pardoned, you're the lawyer here. I've been hearing that they lose their right against self-incrimination if you're pardoned, so you could be compelled to testify in a grand jury or a congressional hearing, and you can't plead the fifth.
Yeah. I think, and by the way, Liz Cheney's being considered for a pardon. What a great decision, just to tie it back to the Harris campaign as a nominee. What a great decision to have the Cheneys on board to show that you're hip and you're with it with the Republicans, right? I mean, I can't think of a more hated politician on both sides of the aisle than Liz Cheney. Yet,
universally hated.
Thought it was a good idea to have her be a surrogate with Kamala Harris.
Yeah, universally hated, got 0 votes. She probably cost Harris votes, to be honest.
I think so as well. If you had to pick right now, who's your BS buffoon?
I guess I can't hide my bias. I'm just biased, and I have a grudge. So for me, Kathy Hochul, she's full of it. I can't think of a single intelligent thing the woman has ever said or done. So that's my pick. But, like I said, I'm biased.
Yes, and absolutely. If you're here live with us, who do you got for the BS buffoon of 2024? We've been talking about Kathy Hochul, all the paid grifters on X like Harry Sisson and Brooklyn Dad Chris Mallory and all those people. The Kamala Harris campaign or the white dudes for Harris? 50%, and also Dr. Fauci as well, being nominated by Mr. Galloway.
Honorable mention. You don't necessarily have to.
It's cool. It's cool by me. It's all good.